3, 2,
Three, two,
1.
one.
Kapow!
Yay, we're streaming.
Yes, this is factual. Yes, we are. Hello.
I'm tweeting it out.
I'm
Dot
tweeting it out.
TV
I'm John. I will be your
slash.
co-host today.
I didn't know you were a dad.
Tell
That's a dad joke.
You're a dad joke.
I'm not a. You know what? That is actually a really mean thing to say. You're a dad joke. Oh.
You're a dad joke.
Yeah, retweeted. Let me get Alpha Geek going. Alpha Geek, Alpha Geek, Alpha Geek. That's where the run tape. Boom, and boom, and boom. It's connecting, John.
All right. Well,
it's streaming.
Okay, we did it. Hooray! Technology.
Yay! That means that we can stop the show since we got it to work, right?
We got everything working. Good night, everybody.
Yay!
Confirmed. We did it.
I'm also gonna cough.
Good lord. Ben has like a whole thing that he has to go through, like checklist.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I gotta do my pre-show cough.
Well, it's I've got a cough.
You know who the best Pokemon is?
Abra?
No, coughing.
Kadabra?
Nope, coughing.
But not Weezer.
No, in the cartoon, coughing, because he seems damaged in some way.
Well, I mean, he grew up in the house of a smoker.
I started watching that cartoon again because I needed a show to just have on in the background. And so I started watching it, and he's my favorite. Every time he shows up, and he's just like coughing and like just running around.
He's
in the background.
So happy too.
He is. He's great. He's the best.
Like no one ever was.
Yeah. So it's pretty great.
I would like to see him wearing a little ash hat and throwing Pokeballs at other Pokemon.
Coughing.
You know, okay. So a question for you.
Okay.
If, like, say, well, I guess they kind of did a movie about it, so maybe this is a stupid question, but so let's say Mewtwo decides that he wants to be a Pokemon trainer.
Okay.
Like, is that even doable?
Sure. Ben, you can be anything you want to be.
Like, no one ever was?
Nope. Nope.
Oh, okay. James Victory Bell. I like the idea of like, okay, so you know how they have the Pikachu detective game coming at some point?
Yeah.
I like the idea of Pokemon just having like everyday work jobs. Like, you know, this Cubone is working at the office and he, you know, is making copies for his job. Then he has to come home and make dinner and
you like a people-less Pokemon world where the Pokemon are the people.
No, I want the people to be in there too.
Oh.
But like there are just scattered Pokemon who are just like people.
Well, isn't that kind of how it works in the games? Because you'll like go to a loading dock and they're like, "Oh, we got these Machamps, whoever, to do dock work for us."
That's true. But well, here's the thing: are they like getting a wage, or are like the Foremans the Pokemon trainers?
Ben, I would be shocked if those Pokemon were getting paid in anything, except
like, hey,
the opportunity to maybe fight one of their fellow Pokemon from time to time.
It's like, okay, day's over. Get back in your balls, guys.
Yeah, Pokemon is a universe best just enjoyed and not thought about, because the more you think about it, just the darker it gets. You need to just wipe your brain and just say, this is a universe that everybody is okay with what's going on here across the board.
Well, definitely, because, you know, when they show them eating, you know, like big meals and, you know, there's meat on the table of some form. Have you ever seen anything that is animal-like in the Pokemon show that's not an actual Pokemon?
No, and that's a good point. I always wondered if there were like actual animals, or like, are they eating like Tauros burgers?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Because wait, wasn't there an episode? It was the Growlithe episode where like they're protecting some herd of toros or something.
I have not made it that far, if there is. But I did see one where they thought about eating Magikarp. So.
Oh. Oh yeah, the Saint Anne episode. I'm just on that too.
So that
Poor Magikarp.
it's been thought of before. Hey, we should eat this Magikarp. Has been discussed.
So then where's the hierarchy? Because they're obviously intelligent beings.
Like I said, Ben, you need to just accept that this is a universe where everybody's okay with everything going on, because you cannot think about it. If you think about it, it is just dark and bad.
Well, okay. Second question, not exactly as dark and bad.
Okay.
Ghost Pokemon. Are they people who have died or Pokemon who have died, or are they just a species?
I don't know. I think canonically, I think they're ghosts of Pokemon.
Okay, so like if you take a Cubone into the Death Tower or whatever, where there's ghosts all over the place, there's a chance that a Ghastly might be its mom.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay, Bim says they're born as ghosts, which I actually find that to be like a lot more comforting.
I mean, sure, great. There's still like none of it's good. None of it's good.
Yeah, and you don't want to read, too deeply into some of those Pokemon descriptions. Like, I forget the exact ones, but like I think Haunter's one of them where he actually eats your dreams.
I mean,
yeah, don't do that.
Cubone's wearing the skull of his dead mother, like, and there's lots of Cubone. So what the hell? It's like that entire just species of Pokemon was like, all right, time to wear this. It's not good.
And it's weird because when he evolves, it becomes part of his skull too. That's Pokemon.
Yeah, that's Pokemon. It's time to talk about WoW. We got that out of our system.
In a nutshell, that's Pokemon.
That's Pokemon, everybody.
Yep. We're not doing who's that Pokemon, just that's Pokemon.
Who's that Pokemon? It's a Murloc.
It's Magikarp. Wait, what did you say?
It's a Murloc.
Oh. I heard something else because I was talking at the same time. I thought you said murder. I'm like, what?
That's murder. All right, Ben, let's do this. Let's do a show, shall we?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think so.
Who's starting this off? This
well, you know what? I'll start the train since I can say things like, welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 177. My name is Ben Bumhofer, and with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Man, you were just so fast with that intro, man. That was great.
I know, it was surprising, right?
Out of nowhere. I'm a little thrown off, but here we are, Ben. Ben!
I really did throw you off. Usually you're just like, boom, just jumping right in there. No, it's like you're startled.
There's a whole streaming thing that I do, and I try to time it, and you were too fast, and so then I was trying to do it after the fact. It's fine. It's fine. People don't need to know this technical details. What people need to know, Ben, is that this is a really good week to be playing WoW.
Oh my gosh, isn't it? It's like I can't believe with how awesome some of the stuff is that's been going on.
Good Lord. It's like Blizzard went into a cave and emerged, and everyone was like, where the hell have you been? And they were just like, we've been crafting this. And then, you just see all of us, and there's a golden light on all of our faces as we just go, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what
it's like
this week's been like.
Total like cartoon, like giant eyes, like giant pupils and wibbly wobbly mouths of like happiness and stuff. Yeah. So, okay, before we do anything, this is where I do my obligatory spoilers, because we're going to talk a heck of a lot about Broken Isles, Demon Hunters, things like that. If you haven't actually had a chance to get in there and play, like say your account's been lapsed or something like that, pay for it right now and jump in, because John, like you said, this is the perfect time to be in the game.
Yeah, it's really good. We are going to spoil it. We're going to spoil all sides of it. If you've only seen one, use your judgment. Although, honestly, I think if you've just seen one, you're still okay to be spoiled. Like, I think it covers pretty much all the shocks. There's Alliance players, there's still a reveal that you will either care about or not. Horde players pretty much know everything that happened, and Demon Hunters are like, whoa, what just happened if they haven't seen the others? So
yeah. Well, the fun thing is I haven't seen any of the Demon Hunter stuff, so I'm a little bummed about that, but I kind of know what's going on with the world, so I figure I'm good.
Well, there's also, there's not really anything to spoil about the Demon Hunters, honestly. They have already said that the Demon Hunter story picks up during Burning Crusade.
Oh, cool.
That was already something that they had mentioned during the Legion trailer, and it is true. Demon Hunters open up as the raid for Black Temple is beginning. And
cool.
So then we're going to talk about, or then what we're going to see is a time jump in the middle. So there's that. I mean, that's really the only things that are even close, and I don't think either of those are particularly spoilery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the cool thing is that the fact that it ties into Burning Crusade is really cool. So I got to say, did it answer that question of why we fought Illidan that we had?
Oh, so that's a good follow-up. So last week, you may remember, we kind of closed on this weird discussion of why did we fight Illidan? And nearest I could tell between what I researched, not a lot of people sent us any of their ideas, although we did get a lot of feedback of, hey, that's a good question. Why did we fight Illidan?
Which is still, I'm wondering.
So the general impression that I got was that, so Demon Hunters are not trusted. They're, first of all, they use the powers of the Burning Legion as part of what they do. So they're already, they're like warlocks on steroids. Like, don't trust a warlock and really don't trust the Demon Hunter. So then you have Illidan, who's a Demon Hunter, and people were, always very wary of him. He's in Outland building an army, and people are starting to think that Illidan has lost his mind. For one thing, he seems to be claiming that he defeated the Lich King, which he did not do. And he is amassing this big army. People got scared, and you've got crazy guy Illidan, who nobody really trusts, and he's got this incredible fighting force, and we decided to take him out. Seems to be kind of the crux of it.
Oh, okay.
Turns out they do address it a little bit, where Illidan basically kind of mocks the people going into the raid, saying that they would, assault those trying to save them.
Nice.
So, I don't know. Illidan was acting a bit weird around that time, so it's not unheard of, although killing a guy because he says he won a fight he didn't win, maybe not the best reason to execute someone, but...
Yeah, that is a little out there, I'd say.
Yeah, so that gets addressed.
Okay, cool.
But,
okay, good.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to... kind of go through the story points in the order that makes sense?
Yeah, let's talk about the story in order, and then we can kind of maybe close on our personal experiences with it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think the logical order to, if for some reason you're like me, you don't get upset about spoilers and you haven't seen the content, to me, the order to experience this is to play through the Alliance version, then play through the Horde version, and then play through the Demon Hunter quests. Definitely.
Okay, so first of all, when you log in, you get the quest right away, which is really awesome. Love that. We don't have to worry about, figuring out where to go or anything. In fact, it even gives you a rock to teleport directly to where you need to go. Who would have thought? They're so good like that. But I haven't actually played it on the Alliance side, but I've seen like the big cinematic. So,
Right.
did you play it?
Yes, I played through the Alliance version of this scenario.
Okay.
And so I'll kind of talk about that one, seeing as I've seen the full thing then. And you can talk about the Horde one next.
Okay.
So the Alliance and the Horde scenarios both start off very similar. Alliance, you get a quest to go down to the docks, and you do the same things. You have a last meal, you polish your armor, get your weapons enchanted, you have a duel, you get on a boat. So the Alliance scenario, I think overall feels a bit better. And the reason I think it feels a bit better is because it's very clearly the Alliance is taking up the main part of the assault. So, and you kind of see this from the Horde side. You're not the one standing in front of Gul'dan at the very end. It's the Alliance that's doing it. And so you do kind of see that. And so, but the first half basically plays exactly the same. You fight some demons on the beach next to Alliance-focused NPCs. You go charging in. You meet people from the Argent Crusade. Wait.
Oh, nifty.
Is that what that's what they are, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they are now.
So you see a dying soldier from the Argent Crusade who tells you that Tyrion is been captured. You see that.
Same with the Horde, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it is exactly the same. It's just the people you're with are different.
Yeah. Then you kill more demons because, demons.
So I don't think there's a lot to tell you or to really talk about in that first bit. It is super cool that you're running a scenario with Alliance and Horde together. And
and not only that, it's 20 people on each side.
Yeah, it feels
you feel like an invasion force. Well, or maybe the spear into that invasion force.
Well, and not to mention, like, there is this feeling going in, and I don't know if the quests come across this way, but the story builds this very artificial arrogance for you to have. Because normally when an expansion hits, the way it works is Alliance and Horde are mad at each other for some reason, but there's common enemy. We got to band together. We got to beat the common enemy. And it takes 5 to 10 levels for all of that to come together and happen. And while this expansion is shaping up to be very much the same thing, what's cool about this scenario is it starts with you guys on the same side. And so it's like, oh, the Legion's attacking? Well, they are a deadly foe, but look, we're the crew that took out the Lich King. We're the crew that stopped the Iron Horde. We stopped Deathwing. Like, bring it on. We're not worried about you. We're united. We're gonna take you on.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is that with the audio drama that Blizzard put out, that's one of the key things in the last chapter where Gul'dan is talking about how it's like, okay, well, if I have to, if I stop Khadgar and what's her face, which I can't think of her name. Maiev, thank you. I almost said Maeve, and I'm like, that sounds weird. Sounds like Medivh. Anyways, so like if I kill them, there's still going to be more. And he talks about essentially your characters, the ones who beat the Iron Horde, who did this, who did that. So like if you've listened to that and you're going into this, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty awesome. I defend this world. We're going to totally kick some ass here.
Yeah, you're coming in from a really strong place. And then you get there and you get to that point where you have the Argent Crusade soldier and he basically admits that they arrived before you and they're dead. They've been decimated basically.
Yeah.
And their leader, the guy who, much to the chagrin of a lot of people, is the one who killed the Lich King, he's been captured. And that's kind of your first indicator of, oh, maybe this isn't going to go as well as I was hoping.
Yeah, maybe not. And so you show up. There's a big pool of fell lava. Well, I'm assuming it's like lava. It's green lava-y stuff. Tyrion is basically being held by Gul'dan because Gul'dan is mean.
Yep.
And I mean, it's one of those things where you gotta love Tyrion though, because he's all like, "Don't worry, the light will protect me," and he the lights up and everything. It's really cool. And then all of a sudden, Gul'dan just gets like supercharged, and Tyrion's just screaming, and oh my gosh,
That scream, man, that was powerful. Like, great read from the voice actor, to
yes.
take everybody out of it. But like, man, he didn't get a cool cutscene to die in. He kind of just died in the event. But the way it was acted was enough for me to be like, holy crap.
No kidding.
The one unfortunate thing is, so I do think it's cool, and I think the cool parts of it outweigh the bad, that they got all these players together to do this scenario together. But of course, like, the one thing that to me was kind of distracting is you have all these cool things going on, but you just have a bunch of people that don't care as much, and that's fine. Like, not everybody should care as much as I do. I understand that. But, you're trying to watch this scene of, like, characters you care about dying and all of that, and you've got someone
just yells, "Hand of freedom! Hand of freedom!"
Well, someone, when I was doing the Horde side, was like, "I'll save you, Tyrion," and he just ran and jumped in the pool, and it was, it's funny, but it's also not what I would like to see in that situation. So, it's kind of... it's kind of frustrating in that regard, where it's like,
well, yeah. I mean,
as soon as I control what people do.
As soon as I loaded in my instance chat, it said, "Hey, this happens and this happens." I'm like, thanks. Thanks a lot. So, yeah. Don't be a jerk. Simple as that.
I mean, yeah, don't. But also understand
anyways.
You're playing this with other people, and there's going to be some dumb stuff. There's going to be people jumping off ledges and yelling things and all sorts of stuff, and just do your best to ignore it if you don't want to see it. That's about all I can say, because that's about all you can do. And anyway, so yeah, that's the first big death, is Tyrion Fordring dies. There's a really cool mechanic where both Alliance and Horde fight a boss at kind of the same time. Which I thought was a really neat concept.
I was happy with that. I mean, Giant Boss is going back and forth between the two different platforms. If the boss is on your platform, you're attacking him. If he's on the other platform, you're attacking ads. And it's great. And I would just like to say that in both times that I've done it, the Horde has won both times. Meaning, they got the killing blow, which of course means they put more damage on them, right?
No.
Dude, I'm just trying to be all pro Horde.
I know you're trying to be all pro Horde, but I'm talking about the Alliance side right now. So
that's right.
All my Alliance loyalty's coming out. So
this won't last long.
Although the Horde did kill him for the time I was playing Alliance as well. But it's just because they get, it's just timing. It's fine.
I know it has to do with like where it spawns and stuff like that. Whatever.
They should
honestly, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, and that's going to ultimately be a recurring theme. Get ready for it, folks. It doesn't matter is going to be a common phrase you're going to hear later on.
Good point.
So anyway, once that's done, things pretty much go as you would expect. So I want to talk to you about this, and we are going to get into the Horde side a little bit with this discussion, but on the Alliance side, you're standing on a bridge, and you have Gul'dan there, and you confront him, and all of a sudden he warps in a ton of demons. And actually by a ton, I mean what seems like a reasonable amount of demons for you to fight in this scenario. And then he sends the first wave of them at you, and you kill them. And once you kill them, you think, all right, well, now he's going to send the second wave. Instead, what he does is he resummons the exact same amount that you just killed, plus a few additional, and then sends another wave at you after that. So then you kill that. So he replaces what he lost again, and then summons more on top of that. And so you get this really cool effect where at first he summons kind of a reasonable amount, and you're like, we can handle that. And every time you defeat some, he just keeps showing it grow. And by the end of it, he starts summoning named demons that you recognize. So I believe Jiraxis makes an appearance there. Tichondrius is back there. A whole bunch of demons that we have fought and killed over the years.
Please tell me Velmothra shows up.
I don't think he was in there, but I kind of looked quick. So the second time I did the Horde version, I didn't get the cutscene because I hit a button. And so I was afraid to hit buttons when I was doing it. And so I was afraid to look at some of the other demons. I was like, no, I got to see the cutscene because I'm going to be so mad if I miss it. So yeah, there's a lot of demons that spawn behind him. And it's funny because then it does go to the cutscene. And in the cutscene, Varian's presenting things very much as like, hey, we're winning this thing. And I was in a situation where I was like, you are not winning this thing right now. Like, this is getting hopeless.
Like, starting to get overwhelmed just because it's like, oh, you can do that? Okay, well, there's the same thing, but more. And there's the same thing, but more.
Yeah.
So he's just slowly, like, upping the ante with each round.
So the reason I wanted to point this out, and now to kind of talk about the Horde equivalent of that.
Well, no, we're just going to go through the Alliance, and then we'll get to the Horde.
No, I need to talk about this right now.
Okay.
So you'll see why in a minute.
Okay.
Because for one thing, I need to know if this was just a bug that I ran into literally twice, or if this is really the way it's presented. Because if this is the way it's presented, this is the one real big misstep, I feel like, in this event. The Horde equivalent of the bridge is you are supposed to be defending a ridge to protect the flank of the Alliance. Yeah. And Sylvanas and all her archers are doing a real good job of shooting enemies out of the sky, but there's a whole big platform area that is just insanely full of demons, which I was like, wow.
When we say insanely full, it's like basically the platform is demon made.
There's like, a lot of demons.
You could crowd surf over the demons.
But here's the part that bugs me about it. Mm-hmm. Unless a player had run in and started crap with those demons, both times I did the scenario, they weren't doing anything. They were just standing there. And it kind of ruined that scenario for me because in both cases, nobody attacked them until way late. And so we heard all this talk of like, oh, we can't hold them, we can't stop them. And it was a bunch of people looking down at demons who weren't going anywhere.
You know, it might have been a bug because I don't recall seeing anybody running towards them or shooting them or anything. But they came like fast for us.
Okay.
Well, Alessandra in chat says that the demons don't charge, but to me, it seemed like it. So maybe someone just instigated it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in both cases, they did eventually come because people did attack them. I think people just got sick of standing there, but it just seemed unfortunate to me that there wasn't anything programmed to actually start sending these against us, because for one thing, it makes the Horde part of the scenario really kind of boring because you're just like, all right, I don't know what we're supposed to do right now. Like, yeah, keep shooting those flying ones. We're doing great, guys. But
yeah, okay. So sorry, just really quick, couple things from the chat room. We're told to charge them, so play along. Also, you can get them to charge, but most of them don't move otherwise. I mean, so varying reports on that.
Yeah, it just feels like a slight misstep. I mean, I feel like those demons should be charging. Maybe there's a technical reason why they couldn't. So I don't know, but it felt a little weird to me. But anyway, for the Alliance side, it eventually goes to the cutscene. What makes the Alliance cutscene so cool, in my opinion, is that they intentionally do not give you all of the information of what takes place. And I think
Yeah.
this is one of the smartest things they could do, because every friggin' expansion, they talk about putting the war back in Warcraft, and they find some dumb reason for them to be fighting again. I don't know if I have ever liked the reason. Like, for one reason or another. Because, Garrosh is a terrible leader. Okay, well, great. You've stuck one faction with a leader they don't like. That's fine, I guess, but
Yeah,
not
and
exactly
especially
great.
after the character development of Varian, kind of getting to the point not where he forgives them, but he like tolerates them and is like, okay, well, we're not going to have open warfare. It's one of those things where Anduin really, has his influence in there. So, yeah, there's really no reason to fight other than just, well, we need it for the game.
Yeah, and so now there's at least, and I think Gen is a perfect example of a character with a legitimate gripe against the Horde even before all this goes down. And so you add this to it, and what you have is that you have tensions that already existed, and this is the turning point for it.
Yeah.
So I think that was really cool. It also had a great moment for Mechatork, who is like the also ran of Alliance leaders. And he had probably one of the coolest moments in the entire thing. So there was that. All in all, I thought the Alliance one was really cool. The only downside I would say to the Alliance one is that what follows the cutscene feels a little dry, not being voiced and not having a cutscene to go with it.
Yeah, that's what I didn't actually get to see is the stuff afterwards. So, just guessing, I'm guessing that it's the whole coronation, goodbye Varian kind of stuff.
Sort of. So the first bit you get is a flight back into Stormwind, where Gen is just absolutely furious with the Horde. In fact, he refuses to go to the meeting with Anduin to discuss his father. In fact, he gives you the letter to give to Anduin. He refuses to go because he's so angry. You go into the throne room. Jaina is furious and ready to wipe out the Horde for this.
Again.
Yeah, everybody else is kind of arguing, hey, we need to have patience. Only together are we going to win. But they're all kind of still operating under the we can deal with the Horde after sort of the mentality. And Anduin doesn't really make any big proclamations there at that point. He just is kind of continuing his mentality of, no, you're right, working together is what we're going to need. And like I said, the only thing is none of it has actual voice. It's just all reading text and all in the in-game models. And then, much like with what the Horde sees later, a bunch of demons show up, and you have to close some portals and kill some demons. And
okay. So that's kind of the same sort of stuff.
Yeah, so it kind of turns into the same after that. But that's basically what it is. Ben, before we get to Horde, there's a discussion that's been coming up a little bit as a result of this.
Okay.
Of people saying that Alliance got short shrifted because they didn't get a second cutscene, or because, like me, they're a little disappointed that this scene doesn't have voice and isn't as fleshed out as what follows for the Horde. Do you have any thoughts on it? I know you haven't seen it, but what is your take?
I'm just gonna jump back to the cutscene where we lose Varian. Okay, because we're going to skip a bunch and jump right into the Horde right after this, I think. Varian died a hero. He sacrificed himself for everything. It was epic. It was awesome. He's on that ship. Gen's trying to pull him up, and he's like, give this to my son. Jumps off and takes down this giant behemoth of a demon, and then, does what he can to just hold everybody off so that the airship can get away and everything, right? That's freaking badass. It was great. It was a hero send off. And being as someone who loves the Horde, I got to say it was one of those things that like inspired me to be like, you know what, you go Varian, that was awesome. The Alliance lost a great warrior and an even better ruler today. That was amazing.
Right.
As for the stuff afterwards, yeah, I can see how that's kind of crappy. But I think there's a direct comparison with what I just said to what happens with the Horde and why we got a second cutscene.
Yeah, so I think an important thing to... I think an important thing to see is that, first of all, hey, remember when I said the "it doesn't matter" was going to be a recurring theme? It doesn't matter. Can we all just say that we got something really cool, and that while we agree that we wish there could have been, like, universally, we all are in the same boat that we want more cutscenes like that. I don't care if I'm Alliance, Horde, whatever faction. Those cutscenes were so friggin' good. I would be okay with any part of this story having an extra cutscene to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I made this point on Twitter. At this point, you can make the assumption that Blizzard put in all that they could with the time that they had. And I genuinely believe that. And I know there's going to be people that are like, they could have done it in a cutscene. It could have been quick, whatever. Here's why I believe that they've put in every cutscene that they could. When you play through the Demon Hunter quest, there is a point where it goes to a cutscene and it just plays a Harbinger's video. It's disconnected from everything else going on. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It only loosely relates to what's actually going on at that moment. I think that there was probably intended to be a different cutscene there. You are not going to convince me otherwise. And if they didn't have time for that, they didn't have time for another one in the Alliance throne room. And so
what you're saying is that I'm going to really enjoy watching that Illidan Harbinger's cutscene again.
Yeah, totally. You will see it. You will see it again. But my point is this: like, we really can't assume that they've done all that they could, but you also can't assume that they could have done more. Because that's what we would all be doing. So we kind of have to just be happy with what we got. I wish that scene could have had voice?
It's a cutscene.
What?
Yeah, John, it's a cutscene or another raid tier. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, do I wish that scene could have at least had voice or something? Yeah, sure. But I'm going to just say we got what we got, and what we got was pretty friggin' epic. So I want to acknowledge that's a complaint that's out there. I don't think we're going to get into it very much because I think, first of all, both you and I agree that
totally,
it is what it is. But I think it's just a case of, sure, we always are going to wish that we had more than what we got, but we got to be happy with what we got.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty damn happy with what I got.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, okay. Going into the Horde, everything's the same up until the cutscenes. And if you've only played Alliance, guess what? We didn't ditch you. It didn't happen that way.
Well, there'll be those who say that we did, but go ahead and continue.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the battle, John, if you had experienced it the way I had, where those demons actually attacked, we were overwhelmed very fast. We didn't have a kill some demons and then Gul'dan summons another wave. We have constant demons. That's all. And, as I was playing what I was doing, I'm like, oh crap, this is not good. We're getting our butts handed to us. At some point, Sylvanas yells, fall back to the ridge. We'll hold here. And, at that point, everybody's trying to run back up to the ridge. And, I mean, again, Demon Mosh Pit in front of us is just running up the ridge towards us. And then it cuts to our cutscene where Vol'jin is trying to hold them back and everything. And he's in the middle of yelling something and gets stabbed twice. Or wait,
No,
Varian was stabbed twice.
Varian
He was
gets
only stabbed once.
twice. Vol'jin gets
Yeah.
stabbed once. And for the record, people have griped that Vol'jin's death sucked. Vol'jin gets stabbed in the stomach, breaks the spear off with his arm, and kills the demon that got him. Like,
Yeah.
Vol'jin's a freaking badass.
He lost a tusk.
Yeah.
How
Like,
cool is that?
like he's great. I don't want to hear people besmirching what Vol'jin did. That guy friggin', you get stabbed in the stomach with a spear and see how willing you are to keep fighting and yelling and barking out orders, let alone survive an entire trip back to Orgrimmar and then a little speech.
I would like to, I think, correct you. I think it was actually a giant sword and not a spear. So he snapped the blade in half, dude. Like, I'm pretty sure. Not entirely, but I think it was actually a giant sword. So, anyways. So, cutscene shows him. Sylvanas sees that he's dying, you know. Also, that Thrall is just splayed out on the ground, not moving. And Vol'jin says to her, don't let the Horde die. Because, okay, Chief said it was a spear. Okay.
Yep.
Anyways.
I didn't even need to correct you because I felt so sure of myself.
Yeah, that's cool. So, the thing is that those demons would keep coming and wipe us out. And then guess what? Horde's gone. And I know some of you Alliance players are like, woohoo, Horde's gone. But you know what? We were going to be wiped out. We're living to fight another day so that we can actually do this. So it was a strategic retreat. We didn't exactly have a way to tell you other than blowing this gigantic horn that also, you know, summoned some Valkyrian to kind of carry some of us off. But that's the thing is, we're dead. We had no chance of surviving at that point. So that's what happened with us, you know, and we could have just disappeared and then you never would have known until finally, you know, like demons are jumping off the cliff and running at you or something. But
well, that is kind of what happened.
Well, yeah, kind of. But, you know, at least we gave you a warning. I'd say so.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the big point. We've, you know, asked people how they felt about it on Twitter, and we've heard... I was actually shocked to hear people be like, oh, I'm still mad at the Horde, and who have seen both cutscenes. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the reality is this, like, from a lore perspective, it is true. If Horde continued to fight up there, they would have all been killed. And then what happened to the Alliance would have happened exactly the same way. So
yeah, just like maybe 30 seconds later.
And the response would have been this. The reality would have been this. Hey, let's regroup because we lost, because that was a losing scenario either way. Except now there's an entire faction that's basically gone. So, you know, Alliance, they're gonna be mad, and that's fine. They can be mad, but as a Horde player, I could not be more proud of the new war chief that we have, because that is the second.
Before we get to that, though. Kind of going back to, you know, the reasoning of the Horde versus the Alliance and everything, I couldn't be happier that this has happened in the game. Like, I saw the Horde cutscene first. My first thought, as soon as we called the retreat, was, oh, they're going to think we're ditching them. And then guess what? Genzal, they're ditching us. Bark, bark. So I'm just like, Blizzard, you son of a bitches. You made it so that there's a reason for us to fight this expansion, which... I mean, that's one of the things that we brought up so many times before is it shouldn't happen. So I was so happy and bummed that it happened. So good on them. Like, seriously, good on them.
Also, I want to give the animation team some super big props for the animation on Bane. Bane Bloodhoof does very little in these cutscenes. He kind of carries Thrall around for a little bit. And
buddies.
And then he looks really shocked to hear Vol'jin talking to Sylvanas. But I really like the animation on him. He's got this weird little nostril flare when people are talking around him. And I was like, man, Bane's all right. I like that guy.
Yeah. He's pretty good. I'm really happy with all of it. Honestly, it all
So,
worked out really well.
talking about
Okay.
the animation on this thing, um, I think that Blizzard's team who put this together, I don't want to say, I don't know if you call it the cinematics team. I don't know exactly what it is. I should have probably looked that up before the show. But oh my gosh, the animation in this. Uh,
Gen was amazing. Absolutely loved him.
they have achieved a level of expression with these new character models that is kind of unbelievable to me. And so I already was kind of like all in on Gul'dan. Like in a world where we don't have Arthas anymore, like all right, give me a cool bad guy.
Hmm.
Oh, you're doing Gul'dan again? Okay, that's fine. I was kind of ho hum about it, but he was cool in the movie, so him still kicking around the game seemed okay too.
Yeah, and
This
considering he was so much of a lackey in Draenor, I mean, he's just kind of there doing what he's told. He feels like a threat now.
this cinematic made me care more about Gul'dan than, like, he's up there with the Lich King. He hasn't passed it for me, but
Hmm.
he's up there because I didn't have the crazy amazing tie to Varian that Alliance players did.
Yeah.
But the look on Gul'dan's face, the things Gul'dan said, the way he killed Varian, it made me hate him something fierce. And
Hmm.
that is something that Blizzard has struggled with their villains. Because frequently it's like, oh, you should not like them because they're larger than life. But with Gul'dan, they are making him legitimately super compelling now, to where I think I said a few episodes ago, I was like, I hope Gul'dan survives this expansion. Now I'm like, that guy needs to die. I I will eat my words. I want that guy to die. He sucks.
Well, one
And
of the first dungeons, you get your chance.
that's a mark of a good villain, right?
Definitely, definitely. Um, okay, so cinematic, blah blah blah. We leave. Then you get summoned to the throne room. You go in. Then we have a non-voiced, like thing that happens in game, which kind of glitched out for me the first time I was in there because people just kept saying the voice things like on top of each other, like there was more than one person activating it at a time. Second time I did it, it was fixed though, so that was cool. But basically, Vol'jin specifically asks for you, which again, you're a big deal. That's one of the things that I loved going into Wrath when it's like, oh, you don't have to wait in line, just come up here. You're a big deal. I mean, you're the leader of the garrison on Draenor. You're a big deal. So you go up there. He wants to make sure you're there with all the Horde leaders, and then um, our second cutscene, which to me was okay. So, like you said, that Vol'jin, the way that he died and everything, and or was hurt, was cool. I totally agree, but he didn't have that heroic moment in that cutscene that Varian has, where you see him end and everything like that. What you have with him is his actual death in the cutscene, where he passes leadership to Sylvanas, which she's insanely shocked by, and that is done so incredibly well too. I mean, just the character model that they had for Vol'jin in that. I mean, he's got the broken tusk. It's gone. He's like grayish. He's got this like gaping wound that's bandaged up and stuff. You see like these black veins on his arms and everything, and it's like you feel for him and you know that he's dying. No amount of healing is going to help him out of this, and he flat up tells Sylvanas, "Hey, I never trusted you, but I never thought that you would be the one that would lead the Horde in this time of war."
Well, and that's
And
the moment too that is we say that Vol'jin didn't get a heroic moment, and that's because we're in the middle of a story. Varian's story concluded with his battle with Gul'dan.
Exactly.
Vol'jin's final actions have yet to pan out. If Sylvanas betrays the Horde, or dooms the Horde, or things fall apart under her rule, then Vol'jin's final actions are actually really, really bad and unfortunate. However, if Sylvanas does manage to play an important and hopefully heroic role in this battle with the Legion, then Vol'jin's final actions are going against what he would personally want for the betterment of the world. And that is just as heroic as I'm going to sacrifice myself. It's not in the most obvious, overt way, but that's what it would be.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's the thing, is that, I mean, I've loved Sylvanas for a long time. I mean, you know that. We've talked about it. She's a leader who really cares for her people. And I think that by having the mantle of war chief given to her, she's going to expand that to the Horde as opposed to like just the undead. And that's something that I'm really excited about, to see her. I mean, yeah, she's going to lead entirely differently than Thrall did, hopefully differently than Garrosh did, and definitely differently than Vol'jin did. But with her, it's going to be like, you know, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm getting crap done, and it's going to be for the betterment of all my people.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what they do, whether it goes good, whether it goes bad, who knows, but I'm excited to see where it's going to go. It's the kind of decision that I think makes for compelling and interesting stories. And so I'm curious to see what's going to happen to the Horde under Sylvanas's watch. Because Horde's been kind of cycling through war chiefs pretty quick. And this could very easily turn into another one of those. So we'll.
Oh my God! It's the defense against the dark arts position.
It kind of.
There's a new one every expansion now.
It kind of is. War Chief is kind of that role, and I did notice. I don't remember how to say his name exactly, but her champion Nathanos has new art, I think, or at least if they redid his art before, I didn't notice it until now. Which makes me wonder, is Sylvanas going to be in Orgrimmar on the throne and he's going to be the new Forsaken leader? Is he getting ready to replace her if she dies this expansion? Like, there's a lot you can read into stuff like that, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
Well, here's the best thing, John. At the pyre and everything, did you right-click him and ask him why he looks different?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What does he say?
It's so great. He said... something about like I forget what it was, because I did it before the demon spawned the second time. I don't remember what he said, but it's during the fight that I asked him, because I noticed my cursor changed over. I'm like, oh sweet. He's like, why are you asking me this? There's demons to kill. And then if you right click Sylvanas, you can ask her, and she essentially just says, shut up. I mean, it's a noticeable thing that you can get a voice thing over. Well, not voice, but a text bubble over, and it's absolutely hysterical. I loved it. So I'm like, yay, go Blizzard.
Yeah, so great. I thought that was super cool. They have actually a fun little witty banter where I don't remember if I had to talk to him or if they just did it on their own, where she talks about how she's getting more kills on demons than he is. And he says, well, I'm your champion. I can't outshine you. And then she makes some comment like, oh, you make excuses like a champion as well.
You're the champion of excuses.
So they're lightening up her character considerably as well, which I typically am not a fan of revisionist character history. She'd been going kind of down a dark road for a while. But considering that was the road I didn't want them going down, and now they're kind of revising it to a different one that I like better, I guess I'm going to be a hypocrite and be like, I'm kind of okay with
it. Well, that works then. Oh, man.
But what's important I will say is that I've acknowledged it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I do know that if you go to Undercity, well, of course, then again, I haven't gone to the throne room since I've gone through the whole scenario. But I know that she had War Chief as like her guild tag, like before the Broken Isles happened. So good job on that.
Yeah.
I Yeah, I haven't gone back into the throne room or into Undercity's throne room to see where she is or anything.
I've been in
So
Grommash
we'll have to check that
Hold.
out.
She's not in there. I have not.
Okay.
been to
Oh, that's
see
right,
her
'cause,
at the Undercity.
Because Elder Sarfang's in there.
Yes. I don't think that's who's actually sitting on the. He's in there, but I don't think that's who's standing in front
Yeah.
of the throne.
Oh, I thought he was.
I think it's Ettrig that's standing in front of the throne.
It might be. Oh, look, Edtrig's so cool. I like him too.
So,
I kind of like orcs, John. They're kind of cool.
hey, turns out orcs are all right.
Yeah.
I have an orc warrior that is super great. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this story, Ben. And the thing of it is that it has made me excited for a bunch of classes because I want, like, okay, I know that Retribution Paladins get Ashbringer. Considering last time I saw Ashbringer, it was falling into a pool of fell poop. I'm kind of curious how we get that. I saw someone mention this in the chat, and I had actually caught on to this a little while back when I started getting back into WoW, I think right when they first did the patch, because I was running old content for Transmog. And if you clicked Tyrion Fordring and Ice Crown at the Lich King event, he would go, "Ah!" And if you clicked him again, he would go, "I'm not going to make it." And I was like, these seem to be new audio files for old Tyrion. I don't remember him saying that the last time I was here. I didn't want to mention it really on the show because I kind of felt like it would give some stuff that I had already known was going to happen away. But yeah, you can actually go still check that out if you run ICC and you click Tyrion up at the Lich King event. He makes a bunch of death chortle sounds, so look forward to that.
Nice indeed.
Yeah. It's funny. And then I tried it with a bunch of characters. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get all sorts of cool information. Let me click Sylvanas and see what she says. It's just the same old stuff, but she does have her new model at least.
Yeah.
Same with Thrall, I believe. That was the other one that I made a point of going and seeing and clicking, and he was still doing the same thing.
Yeah. So that's the first bit that happened on Tuesday. The second bit is demonic invasions. John.
Yes.
How much fun have we been having in WoW?
So, turns out demon invasions by yourself, really fun. Demon invasions with a group of people, way better.
Oh my gosh, it was great. Last night in Raid, we didn't raid. We decided to take as many characters and alts as we could through demon invasions, and wow. I mean, first of all, we were all concentrated on the same big bosses, so it happened a lot faster, but it was so much fun just flying around the world defending Azeroth against demons together.
Yeah, not since the days of Star Wars Galaxies and us killing water bandits have a group of enemies been so shocked to see an army suddenly racing towards them because I don't remember how many people we had in the group, but
At one point, I'd say we had probably 14, 15 of us.
Yeah, and that's not counting the people that just followed us by default anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people know this or not, but during the demon invasion at stage 3, if you look at the map, some of the things that appear on the map are skulls. And if you kill those skulls, you actually get shards. The fell shards from those bosses, so you can get
anywhere from like 6 to 9 or something like that for each one you kill.
Yeah, you can get way more shards if you fight those things instead of just doing other objectives during that time. But I mean, they're all bosses, so you kind of need a group to do it. And
Yeah.
so when you have a group just going from boss to boss, not only do you get more shards, but you also, it's just way more fun. Because I gotta tell
Oh
you, I
yeah.
hate stage 3. When I was by myself doing it, stage 3 was the only part where I was like, I want to go AFK.
Yeah, well, the first time that we ran across it, I you'd probably done it earlier in the day. Anyways, the first time I ran across it is we were just picking off like small demons one at a time, and it felt like those Apexis dailies. So I'm just like, okay, we'll just kill indiscriminately, and then randomly we'd show up and there'd be a giant demon there. It's like, okay, we'll fight that with some other people who kind of went along and everything, but I didn't make the connection of giant skulls on my map to, hey, kill this, it goes faster, until probably the second day that I was doing this stuff, and ended up just kind of like following some people and seeing the trick behind it.
And it changes
And
your mentality because you're not,
oh,
instead of
completely.
saying, when will this stage end? You're saying, oh, I gotta get one more, I gotta get one more, I gotta get one more.
Hmm. Yeah, and to the point where, like, you kill the same demons over and over again because that's the point. That's it, and I think that it's a brilliant move on Blizzard to have the same ones there to show you that, yeah, you don't kill these things like at all. And it, unless you're in the Twisting Nether, for people who are like, no, I killed them 4 times. Anyways, the really cool thing is that if people know this and they understand it, it makes the whole idea of artifact weapons that much like cooler to me. Because, and I know this is like kind of like leapfrogging well past what we were going for, but I mean, if you keep fighting the same enemy over and over again, you're going to want to start looking for something that can actually defeat it. So it makes sense, story wise, for us to be like, okay, well, let's go get these fabled weapons of history and stick it to the Legion. Poor Ret Pallies, because obviously Ashbringer doesn't work. But
Yeah.
it
Turns out Ashbringer's a little busted.
it's like, hey guys, I dropped it. Anyways, but I mean, it just that tiny little thing added so much more story in my head about it, because I'm like, oh, this makes sense on why we'd be looking for new things to do. And even though like it's super simple to get all the gear and stuff that you need, I am so excited for it to ramp up and have it happening more and more, because it's a ton of fun. It really puts me back in the position of caring about what happens to Azeroth. I mean, we've been in Draenor for 2 years, and haven't set foot on Azeroth or do anything. And now all of a sudden it's like, it feels like someone's actually like, actually doing a home invasion trying to stop us. And this is our first offensive of, we've got to hold some ground here. Otherwise we're just going to get stomped.
Yeah. And keep in mind, too, next week they are going to be ramping up. We're going to be seeing more invasions faster. And then the week after that, they are going to be getting even faster. So it's going to be evolving as we get closer to Legion's launch, which is exciting. I'm just thrilled that I have a quick and easy way to gear up my characters, because I think it was last week I was telling you that I was kind of done with my warrior because I wasn't going to pay for the garrison upgrade. Well, now I'm not worried about it. My warrior is now actually my second most geared character in the game. Went from didn't even have a level 3 garrison, couldn't do much of anything, to second highest rank gear score wise. So it's a really fun way to gear up your characters. I'm really liking it. I thought I was going to get sick of it really quick, and I'm not. I'm still diving in there. And it's made me want to do so much in the game, because I'm doing demon invasions on my rogue, on my warrior, on my... I actually haven't even started on my monk yet. So
oh wow.
I still have to do that on my monk. I've done a little bit on my death knight, done a little bit on my shaman. Good lord, when did all these alts come from? I don't remember having this many alts. Now I feel like I have a lot.
John, you bought many copies of the expansion and boosted all of them.
Sure. So yeah, but I'm also wanting to, dive into the characters that aren't max level. And so it's been really competing for my time lately, and I know there are a lot of people out there that get super nostalgic for Lich King. I'm one of you. But this is the best pre-expansion content they have ever done in the game.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it reminds me a lot of Lich King when there were those invasions that were going on, but it definitely wasn't to the degree that this is. In fact, I totally forgot to tell you before the show, I randomly got turned into a sympathizer for the Legion when I was just in Orgrimmar.
Yeah, I had this happen to me as well.
Okay, I didn't have time to really do anything about it, but I'm just like, oh, this is really cool. Okay, and then I turned some other or some player into one as well because I'm like, haha, and then I invisibled myself and then just ended up right clicking the thing off because again didn't have time to really play around with it.
So,
but
at first I didn't know what was happening. I was standing talking to the little shards vendor guy, and all of a sudden there was an explosion on my character, and my character started pacing back and forth. And my actual out loud reaction to that, because I was actually on a phone call at the time, they knew I was playing WoW, was, what just happened? And I'm trying to figure out what just happened. And I'm looking all
Took
around,
a second.
and the only thing I notice is the debuff in the upper right. And I look, and I put my mouse over it, and the description for the debuff was questioning allegiance, and the subtext for it is what just happened. And I freaked out. I was like, okay, that should not happen. You should not get a debuff that says literally what you just said out loud. That's frightening.
Very true. And I mean, your action bar completely changes. You have all these different abilities and stuff, and I guess you can like turn into a giant demon and kill people. Like it flags you PvP, and yeah, it was interesting, and it totally made me realize, oh, that's why I saw a couple random demons in Orgrimmar who are marked as PvP. Oh, okay, makes sense. That works. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, and like, I don't know. I have a feeling that like more random stuff is going to be happening as it ramps up. You know, it's kind of like with the undead plague that happened. It was something that ramped up. First, there were the poisoned boxes of grain just kind of here and there, and then the zombies were everywhere, and then it just was incredibly crazy. And then people hated playing, which I didn't. I thought it was great. So, yeah, it's reminding me of all this cool stuff that happened before one of my favorite expansions, and props to Blizzard for really bringing so much fun back to a pre-expansion. Yeah. It's been a while, John.
It has. It's been a really long time. Some would say it's been since Lich King.
Wrath of the Lich King. Yep.
So, yeah, it's been great. They've really nailed this content. Obviously, I can't speak to the actual expansion so far itself, but Legion is off to a really strong start. I was super positive on Warlords at the beginning, so take it for what you will. But
at the same time, John, you weren't this positive about it. I mean, you liked the story concept of it, but you nailed it when you saw the preview for Warlords of feature light and everything like that. But you're excited about all the aspects that this expansion's giving us, it seems.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful for this one. And look, I am not Wowstradamus, but I will say that, okay, me calling Warlords a feature light expansion, even though the amount of hate I got for saying that is probably the most hate we've ever gotten for anything on a show. Like, my rant about I can't believe they're upping the price for an expansion that seems like it's so lacking in content before it was even out. We got a lot of hate mail for that. I did.
Oh, yeah.
But, hey, guess what? Proved right. That's my one. That's my one I got right.
So that being said, John, are you okay with the higher cost for this expansion?
Did this one cost more?
Oh no, it's the same amount as Draenor.
I got over that last year.
Okay, well, never mind that. But if that change was happening now, would you think that given all that we've seen and all they've given us, that is justified?
Look, realistically, if that was happening right now, it would still probably bug me, if I'm being completely honest, just because I don't think the price of WoW expansions needed to go up.
Yeah.
I'm probably more mad about it for last expansion than I was even at the time, but right now, in a world where it's already happened, it's just kind of, it is what it is. Maybe
Okay.
that's because I bought it like months and months and months ago. So,
So at this point, it's not real money to you anymore.
yeah, it's like a different me purchased that for myself a long time ago.
Yeah.
He seemed fine
Just
with
like
it, so I guess I should be too.
Yep, just like past Ben bought No Man's Sky, so it was a really great treat on Tuesday when it downloaded on my PS4.
Yeah, exactly. The things we do in the past echo in eternity.
Exactly. Well, speaking of the past, there's another thing called the future. John, if people are looking for you in the future, where's the best place to go?
The best place to find more of me is on Twitter. You can find me at John_Jagger. You can find out anything I'm working on or doing. If you want to hear another show where I talk about another Blizzard game, that game being Heroes of the Storm, you should check out Core.
Core!
Core records live every Tuesday, and we also play some games usually after we record, so that is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or you can just download the show, check out more information at heroesforyou.com. Ben, where can people find you?
Best place to find me actually is on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. You can find out when I post shows like Battle Pets, which is another show about World of Warcraft that I do with Eludra, as well as Geektopia, which, man, seriously, our last episode is still that Captain America one, John, and I had it on my iPod for a little bit. I just kind of hit play to be like, wonder what this is like without watching the actual movie. Dude, it's horrible. Not the show. The movie is horrible, and just listening to us like talk about it, I've revisited the whole thing. I'm like, oh god, no, I need to stop this now. So I still recommend that. It's a lot of fun to do. Anyways, this show, however, you can always follow us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. If you want to check out past episodes, you can go to AzerothRoundtable.com, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Alpha Geek Radio, all that fun stuff. And of course, our intro contains music from Rhino's theme by Kevin MacLeod. You can find more of his music at incompetech.com.
Boom. Sort of nailed it. So, Ben, this is gonna be an interesting week because we are going to be putting up our first patron exclusive content. Probably, maybe. We're in talks. We're in talks.
Yeah. We have plans potentially tomorrow to record.
There's going to be a thing that's going to be recorded, and hopefully it will be entertaining, and hopefully you will have fun. But keep in mind, the only way to see that content, at least as we plan to do it right now, is to become a patron, which you can do at patreon.com/AzerothRT. So we thank you to everybody who has supported us thus far. This was for getting us to our first goal, so we're going to throw up a little bit of additional content as a thank you because it really means a lot. You guys have shown us a lot of support we didn't expect, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very much so. It's humbling. I'm probably going to keep saying that every week, John. It's humbling.
It is.
Yes. Now, if they didn't want to join the Patreon and want to do, say a one-time payment of something, is there any way they can support us that way?
I've heard that you can go to geekasylum.etsy.com and you can get the official Azeroth Roundtable keychain or necklace.
Yes.
That would be a thing. That would be a thing you could do.
So check it out. And with that, thanks for joining us for this episode of Azeroth Roundtable. Dude, hop into WoW if, for some reason you're listening and your sub is, gone. It's really good.
Yeah, give it a try. See what you think. You don't have to go to the Garrison at all at the moment.
Yeah. I'm transitioning all of my tunes out of the Garrison, actually. So, yeah.
I thought you were about to make a real progressive statement. I was like, oh, well, tell me more.
And with that, that's a show. Good night, everybody.
Was I supposed to stop the stream, or was that just
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want.
Oh, yeah, I'm also recording.
I gotta go.
Oh, no,
yeah.
Big.
Did you stop the stream?
No, I didn't stop the stream.
Oh, well, I'm gonna stop Alpha Geek, so bye, Alpha Geek.
Bye, Alpha Geek. I stopped recording the actual podcast part.
Oh.
I
Yeah, you can stop recording the podcast part.
I stopped that.
Yeah, we should be good. I do have I have the full show recorded, so behind the scenes, folks, guess what? There was issues with my setup because Windows updated weird.
Yeah, we had to scramble tonight a little bit.
Yes.
I want to say, I'm going to send a special shout out. Alessander, I like your emails. Let me tell you why I like your emails.
First off, I do too.
Alessander, hi, it's John here. I like your emails. We don't get to emails enough. I wish we got to them more. But I like your emails. That said, one of the main reasons I like your emails is because you present a completely opposite opinion of mine.
Well, and just even more so, just an entirely different gameplay style too, which it's so refreshing because I talk to you, so it's refreshing.
No, I did like it, but this last one, Alessandro, I read it and I was like, man, I see where you're coming from. I understand, but I can't. I was like Padme in episode 3. I was like, you're going down a road I can't follow. You're breaking my heart.
One, yeah.
You're breaking my heart. I love Gul'dan, and I will say I will steal Gul'dan too because I like calling him Gul'dan too. I like that name for him, but I like him. I think they've done a great job with him. I also think Vol'jin's death was really good. I thought King Varian's death was really good. I thought I couldn't have liked everything that happened more. But I appreciate the different perspective because all I know is mine.
Oh yay, we swayed her.
All right, cool. Well, I'm all about that. We need to get you on the Gul'dan train. I mean, honestly, like though, if you don't like Gul'dan, then you're kind of already on it because like that's the point. You're not supposed to like him. He's a good villain because you don't like him. It's the Kylo Ren theory. It's like when people are like, I don't like that Kylo Ren. He was just whiny. He bothered me. It's like, well, he was the bad guy. You're not supposed to like him. Well,
I like my favorite character.
I liked Darth Vader. All right, well, that's cool that you liked Darth Vader, but guess what? You're not supposed to like Darth Vader.
Hey, John, he likes Darth Vader a lot.
He likes Darth Vader in a way that I want somebody to one day like me.
Oh, wait. I don't know how I should take that, actually. Okay.
That would have been a great end to the stream. I should have just shut down the stream right there. Crap, we're still going. We missed the opportunity. That would have been a fantastic end of the show.
Oh, John.
I think it's because I wanted to see what Alessandro was going to say. Well, I don't like him, but I don't want to see him. But I don't like him like Vader is awesome, cool, and I want to see more Vader. Yes, fact. Yeah. Gul'dan had Darth Vader posters on his wall.
Yeah.
It is known.
He also had one of those costume hoodies. Wore it to high school all the time.
You can't see it because it wasn't in the cutscene, but like after he killed Varian, he turned around and he was like, "This will be a day long remembered. It's seen the end of Varian. It will soon see the end of the Alliance."
Yeah.
You ever notice that Gul'dan's best lines involve either everything or nothing?
Yeah, pretty much. He's a Sith, John.
Yeah.
He only deals in extremes.
Absolutes. Yes, he totally does. And on top of that, he's like the James Bond villain because everything or nothing sounds like a James Bond movie. Actually, I think it might be a James Bond movie. Yeah.
It is, John.
His most memorable lines. He says everything or nothing in it. It's like Illidan's catchphrase.
Yeah.
It gets a little overplayed.
Yeah. Almost as bad as. Well, actually, no. I would have to say You're Not Prepared is worse than Too Soon. What needs more play? What is this sorcery?
Yeah, not enough people say, "What is this sorcery?" That's the best catchphrase.
Exactly.
Also, when Reinhardt yells, "Catchphrase!"
Catchphrase! I love Reinhardt, dude. John the Third, like gold. Oh, Isle.
I'll. I thought John the Third as well. I'll like
Because of
Gul'dan when I
Gul'dan,
see
too.
him plot something. Scheme, turned Varian and Tyrion into his new Death Knights. He doesn't
Oh!
need to plot or scheme. He has succeeded where Gul'dan 1 didn't. He's earned the trust and the backing of the Legion.
Yeah, so
Gul'dan
now
1
he's
got
a
killed
leader.
by the Legion. Gul'dan 2 successfully serves the Legion. And look, I know what you're going to say. True villain doesn't serve anybody, except Darth Vader, again, the epitome of cool villain, served the Emperor. At least up until he didn't, which Gul'dan still has the opportunity to do. So I maintain that Gul'dan equals Darth Vader.
Oh, which, by the way, John, going back to the Alliance cutscene, well, both cutscenes, apparently I'm wrong. It does not look like Sylvanas is going to be able to bring Varian back as an undead.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was your prediction, was that she was going to res him and have a sweet Varian bow hanging out with her.
Yeah, like how cool would that be? Still, I still think that's an awesome idea. But well, maybe that's who the new guy actually is.
Ben,
He's actually Varian.
You're going down a road I can't follow. You're breaking
Am
my
I breaking
heart.
your heart?
You're breaking my heart. My heart.
You brought him to kill me. Oh no, wait, that sounds too cool.
That sounds like Uther.
You brought him to kill me.
That sounds like Gazlowe.
Close enough.
Time is money, friend.
That sounds like Mickey. Shit. Okay, I gotta go, John.
I'm going to go play No Man's Sky, Ben.
Okay, you do that.
I will. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.